Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vitvishawahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 1 to 5 of chapter 3. Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Jayasi chet karmanaste.
Jayasi chet karmanaste.
Mata buddhir janardana.
Mata buddhir janardana.
Tat kim karmani ghore mam.
Tat kim karmani ghore mam.
Niyojayasi keshava.
Niyojayasi keshava.
Vyamishreneva vakyena.
Vyamishreneva vakyena.
Buddhim mohayasiva me.
Buddhim mohayasiva me.
Tadekam vada nishchitya.
Tadekam vada nishchitya.
Yena shreyohamapnuyam.
Yena shreyohamapnuyam.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
Lokesmin dvividha nishtha.
Lokesmin dvividha nishtha.
Pura prokta maya nagha.
Pura prokta maya nagha.
Jnana yogena sankhyanam.
Jnana yogena sankhyanam.
Karma yogena yoginam.
Karma yogena yoginam.
Na karmanam anarambhat.
Na karmanam anarambhat.
Naishkarmyam purushoshnute.
Naishkarmyam purushoshnute.
न च संन्यसनादेव
न च संन्यसनादेव
सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति
सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति
न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि
न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि
जातु तिष्ठत्यकर्मकृत्
जातु तिष्ठत्यकर्मकृत्
कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म
कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म
सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः
सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So in the last session, we were seeing the different dimensions of Arambha. Arambha literally means starting something, commencement of any activity. But when we go deep into it, we get so many sadhana tips. Actually, it is very interesting. If you take the Bhagavad Gita, even before you go deep into the text of the Bhagavad Gita, if you just study the context of the Gita in a deep way, you will get many, many messages. What is the context of the Gita? It is not a student who is approaching a master who is sitting at his place. The context of the Bhagavad Gita is a battlefield. If you go to the Upanishads, the context there is a student goes in search of a master, and then he finds one and he asks various questions. Whereas the Bhagavad Gita is not like that. It was given in a battlefield. The very first verse of the Bhagavad Gita, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. So that is the Kshetra, the field of war, the field of Dharma. Now, what is the message which we get from that context? Your life is like a battlefield. When he talks of the external war, from a yogic approach, we relate it to whatever is happening within us. Only then you will be able to get the deeper imports of what they are trying to convey. So the human mind is in a constant state of war, strife. What is the war about? Who are the opponents? The good forces within you and the negative forces within you. It is an eternal struggle. And one who solves this problem, he becomes a Sthita Prajna. So the moment we talk of a battlefield means there are a lot of challenges, fights. Now, if you compare it with your life, if you take your whole life as a battlefield, your life is full of challenges and problems. Tell me one area where there is no challenge. Impossible. Right from birth, your life is a challenge only. See, when a baby is born, the very process of birth is a challenge both to the baby and the mother. The baby has to leave its comfort zone. It was very protected in the womb, and now it has to come out. That is a big challenge. And for the mother to deliver the baby is a challenge. So the starting point of your life itself is like a battlefield only. So when he has set the context of the Gita and the battlefield, it is a very thoughtful move. See, he could have very well kept the same Bhagavad Gita in some other context. But that doesn't give the punch which it gives when the context of the battlefield is set. And then it is not only about birth. After a baby is born, the baby is not even able to keep its head steady. It goes on shaking, there is no balance. So the baby has to learn to first hold its own head in a balanced way. And then, every stage, the baby has to turn, sit, crawl, and learn to walk. When the teeth start coming, that is a challenge. See, you see the physiological changes, the various phases of the individual growth, whether it's internal physiological changes or external growth. You will see that at every step there is a challenge. That is how life itself is designed. So when he talks of Kurukshetra, it is the battlefield of your life. So battlefield doesn't mean now unless you have some very big fights, then only the Bhagavad Gita is applicable. It is not that. See, the various developments of a baby were given to you just at the physical level. Then what about at the emotional level? The various turmoils which an individual goes through as he or she passes through various phases of life. It is very, very complicated and intense. That is why the great masters have compared life to a battlefield so beautifully. See, the moment we talk of battlefield, we only think of the external situation. It is not only the external situation, internally also. So you have two kinds of challenges. One is the external situation. The other is the internal situation. The condition of your own mind, the condition of your emotions, the condition of your thoughts. Everything can be wonderful outside, but if your thoughts are negative, then you will find it very difficult. So as a human being, you are constantly facing these two kinds of challenges in life. The external challenges, the external battlefield, and the internal challenges, the internal battlefield. Now, why is it that life has been designed in such a way? That is also very interesting. The purpose of your life is to keep learning, is to go on learning the higher principles and attain perfection, get to the state of enlightenment. Now, in order to get to the state of enlightenment, you need to be very strong. You need to increase your inner power, your inner strength. A weak person cannot attain enlightenment. Now, if you carefully think about it, when is it that you can acquire strength? Only when there are challenges. And when you learn to face those challenges, you will become a strong person. Even at the physical level, if you want to increase the strength of your muscles, you require what is called as resistance. See, how is it that bodybuilders increase the strength of their muscles? It's by lifting weights. Now, in the ancient system, it was not so much about lifting external weights, but they used their own body weight to build their muscles. Now, whatever be the method, the principle there is that the more the resistance, the more strength you will develop, provided you do it in a proper way with guidance. If you don't have any resistance at all, your body will never become strong. It is the same principle with respect to your personality also. If there are no challenges, you will never develop inner strength. Actually, the more the challenges, the more is a potential to develop infinite strength. So that is why God or nature has designed life as a battlefield full of challenges. Now, when you don't understand this deeper purpose, you will see the same life as an obstacle because it's full of challenges. You will say, why has God given me so many problems? Why are all these issues there? You will only get more and more impatient and irritated. A true sportsman will love challenges. See, supposing you take a sports person. Now, how is it that he or she increases the skill? The tougher the opposition, the best will come out of a true sports person. If you bring a very top person in sports and ask him or her to play at a lower level, they will not be inspired to play. They will not be able to bring out the best from within. You know, in the recently concluded World Cup cricket, the very crucial match between India and Pakistan, the stage was set, everything was down for India. They were almost losing. And then suddenly, Virat Kohli played an incredible knock. Now, one thing is to enjoy the match, that is good. But you also have to learn you can learn a lot of philosophy from that. He has made a statement later on saying that during that day, the kind of energy flow which I had, I've never had in my life. Energy flow means, what he means is that strength, the power which he felt. Why is that? Under normal circumstances, he was playing normally. Suddenly, when the challenge intensified, the best came out of him. That is what he is indirectly indicating. This is just an example. Like this, you can see, you can take up so many examples from your life. The best has come out from achievers when they faced severe challenges only. It is only in dirty waters that the lotus blooms, not in pure water. So you should be like the lotus. When you face challenges in life, now you have two approaches. One is, the first tendency is to run away. That is what he is attacking here. He says, no, by running away you cannot achieve anything. This is a general weakness of the mind. The other approach is, no, I will face the challenges with more clarity, with more wisdom. This ancient wisdom actually gives you so much of clarity. It equips you with the higher principles necessary to combat the challenges of life. That is the second approach. Now, one who takes the first approach cannot achieve anything in life. He or she will be a failure and they will go on complaining. See, usually it is a person who loses who complains. The person who wins does not complain. They will say, this is not okay, I was not given enough opportunities, this is not okay, all that. But a person who takes the second approach, now that person will become an achiever. You take any achiever in any area of life, whether it is sports, whether it is music, dance, business. It is the ability to face the various challenges in that particular field which gave them success. Now, when it comes to spiritual growth, it is the same thing. When there are no problems in life, there will be no internal growth. Just imagine, supposing there are absolutely no problems at all in life. Now your life will become so boring. The more the problems, the greater is the opportunity for you to grow, to develop that inner strength. So this has been beautifully symbolized by setting the context of the battlefield for the Bhagavad Gita. See, all this is before you enter the deeper imports of the Gita itself. You can get so many messages. There is much more. I am taking those relevant points and giving here in this context. So when Arjuna faced the challenge in the battlefield, what was his reaction? He wanted to escape. He wanted to run away. That symbolizes the weakness of the human mind. Your mind always wants to escape. Your mind wants to run away. Escapism or running away is not the spiritual way of life. I don't know how this misconception is set in. It is because of the misunderstanding of the words like sannyasa, that is renunciation, and detachment and all that. So sannyas or renunciation, detachment doesn't mean running away from life. This is the first point which you need to understand. Karma yoga is not some specific technique for you to practice. Karma yoga is the way in which you should, way by which you should live your life productively, productive to yourself, productive to the society also. When I say productive to yourself, I mean your actions should give you the prosperity, the inner wealth. The goddess Lakshmi represents wealth, both external wealth and inner wealth. So this weakness of wanting to run away is something which you need to conquer. So when you pray to God, a normal person prays as, "Oh God, I'm having so many problems. Please remove all these problems." But a sadhak never prays that way. A sadhak never says, "Now remove of all the problems, all the issues." Because a sadhak knows that if all the issues are taken off, then there will be no opportunity for him or her to grow. So how does a sadhak pray? "Oh God, give me that wisdom. Give me the higher guidance. Give me that inner strength to be able to face the challenges and problems of life so that I can grow, I can expand my consciousness. I can become one with the infinite." So from this moment onwards, change the nature of your prayer. Prayer means seeking. Even when you are coming to these sessions, what is it that you are seeking? Are you in an indirect way wanting to run away? See, when you say, "I want no issues in life should just go on in a smooth way," it means indirectly your mind is wanting to run away. That is not practical, that is not possible at all. If you think that there is some magic formula which will be given to you by which all problems will instantly dissolve, then you are living in an illusion. The Yoga Sankirtan sadhana is not to remove all the challenges of life. It is to increase your capacity to such an extent that even the so-called greatest challenge of life becomes nothing to you. You're able to easily face these challenges and solve them. So as a sadhak, from this moment onwards, start seeking inner development, inner growth. That is very important for you to master the principles of Karma Yoga. The mind will not allow you to develop this inner strength. The mind will try to force you to escape from whatever problem you're facing. Now, why is it that escapism will not work? I'll explain that also to you. Because for you to practice the sadhana of Arambha will not be so easy, because there is an inherent weakness of the mind. So when you gain deeper wisdom about all this, you will be inspired to practice that sadhana. So why is it that escapism is not a solution? See, from a deeper spiritual point of view, your entire life is nothing but a projection of your mind only. As your mind, so is your world. If your mind is positive, you will find the world positive. You will attract positive people to you. If your mind is negative, you will find the world negative. If your mind is business oriented, you will find every aspect of life is nothing but a business transaction. If your mind is artistic, you will find that every aspect of the world has this artistic nature. To a physicist, the world is nothing but electrons, protons and neutrons. To a person who is who studies chemistry, now everything is nothing but chemicals. Very interesting. To a business person, everything is business. To a fearful person, everything is terrifying. You know, in Tamil, there is a beautiful proverb. Arandavanukku irundadellam pei. Means for a person who is afraid, any darkness is nothing but a ghost. It's a beautiful statement. Now, for a spiritual person, everything is divine because that is what he is experiencing within. So whatever the state of your mind is, that is what your world is. The world is a projection of your thoughts. So when you're facing some challenge outside, if you try to escape from the challenge, what are you achieving? It gives you a temporary kind of a relief, no doubt. But since the world itself is a projection of your thoughts only, wherever you go, you're still carrying the same mind. So that mind will start projecting the same issues there. You may escape from one situation externally, but you cannot escape from the root cause of that issue, of that problem, which is nothing but your own mind. So what these great masters are saying is, the more you try to escape from challenges, the more pressure will be built from within. See, whenever you try to run away from something, now that will come and start bothering you in your mind. If you are afraid of someone or a particular situation, now that will cause that will cause so much of agitations within you. Sleepless nights. You'll spend sleepless nights. It has been beautifully described in the story of Kamsa. See, if you read Krishna's story, the life history, now Kamsa was a king. He had actually everything, but he was so afraid of Krishna. There was a prophecy that the eighth child of Devaki will be the cause for his death. He tried so many methods. He tried to imprison her and kill all the babies when they were born and all that. But all that didn't work. Now, how it has been described is that slowly, Kamsa started fearing Krishna so much. And when Krishna was invited, Kamsa himself invited Krishna to visit Mathura, his place. He was his uncle only, and he had arranged for some wrestling matches, one for Krishna and one for his brother Balrama, with some very, very seasoned wrestlers. So his idea was that they will kill him. That was his plan. So he invited Krishna, but it has been described that Kamsa never slept. Day in and day out, he was so fearful of Krishna. And that fear kept on growing. And the more he was trying to avoid him, the more fearful he became. And the more he feared Krishna, the thoughts of Krishna kept on bothering him. It is so beautifully described. What you fear most will occupy your mind the maximum amount of time. Whatever you try to avoid in life will not leave you. It will come and sit in your mind. Remember this. Escapism is never a solution. Supposing you think your partner is not treating you properly, you're so afraid to express yourself. That is the real issue. Even though what your partner is doing is wrong, but as far as you are concerned, your suffering is not because of the partner's behavior. It is because of your weakness. You don't have the courage to speak up for yourself. So the solution is to become strong. Get the courage to speak up for yourself. Now, instead of doing that, if you try to run away from the situation, either by completely being passive or by avoiding conflicts, now slowly the fear, the uncomfortable feeling will start increasing within you. That is why a great yogi said, it is now or never. Remember this line, whenever you face any problem, any challenge in life, it is now or never. The mind will want to run away. No, it is now itself I need to face it, or I will never be able to face it. That is the powerful thought process of a sadhak. So if you want to become a powerful sadhak, develop that thought process. Actually, it is not only about running away from problems externally. You also try to run away from your emotions, from whatever negativity you have within. See, when we go deep in meditation, especially the higher empowerments, the higher energy, the higher Shakti is sent so deep within you that it starts cleaning up all the karmas, the impressions. Now, why is it that the higher empowerment is not given to anybody and everybody to start with? Because you don't have that inner strength to face yourself. If all the negativities are brought out at one go, you will not be able to face it. You don't have that strength. Because the mind wants to escape. You want to hide from yourself. So through the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana, through these Sunday discourses, through the different empowerments, this inner strength is what is being built. And slowly, when you develop infinite strength, a time would come where you will overcome this weakness of escapism 100%. And when you overcome it 100%, you are ready to face yourself fully. And the day or the moment you face yourself fully, that moment your entire limitations will be dissolved. All your limitations will go and you will become one with the infinite. So the more you run away from something, that will follow you and that will overpower you. Swami Vivekananda, he gave his own incident as an example in his lectures. So once when he was taking a walk in the Himalayas, suddenly a bear started chasing him. That is, the bear came in front of him. So he got frightened, and so he turned back and he started running. And the bear started chasing him. So he went on running. He was so afraid. And finally he came to a stage where there was a huge block, that is a boulder or something, and he couldn't proceed further. So he was so much afraid that he was turned the other side, and he just took shelter with that in that rock, and he was standing there with intense fear. At that time, a great yogi was passing by. Now he just stopped and he shouted and he gave some instructions to Vivekananda, and that was, face the brute. This is what the yogi said, face the brute. Means don't turn that side and be fearful, face the brute. Now when Vivekananda heard those powerful words, obviously when a yogi gives such instructions, there is so much of energy also he passes, So Swami Vivekananda got that strength. So what he thought is, what am I achieving by fearing and turning this side? If I have to die, let me die with courage, no? Why should I fear? So he just turned and faced the bear. So the bear came running, and the moment Vivekananda suddenly turned, for 1 second the bear was unnerved, and then Swami Vivekananda stared at the bear eye to eye with full confidence, with full courage. And what was most interesting is the bear backed off. It went away. So much later in his lectures, he gave his own example and said, that is how you need to approach life, with strength, not with weakness. As long as you run away, the problem will engulf you. But the moment you turn and face it squarely, now you will get solutions. So anarambha is that weakness. Not wanting to face life, not wanting to handle the challenges in front of you. Either it can be in front of you externally or internally also. So the higher empowerments can be given only when you develop that inner strength. Because as your awareness increases, you will become very acutely aware of the various negativities which are there within you. At that time, if you don't have the strength, you will lose your confidence and you will want to run away. You will prefer to hide all your negativities and pretend as if nothing has happened. But all these things will not work. So the sadhana of arambha is nothing but getting that inner strength to face life fully. This entire chapter is devoted to that only. So the four aspects of arambha we saw, that is, what are the different ways by which the mind tries to escape. So the first is, arambha means beginning. So the first kind of escapism is you don't want to initiate something new. See, to initiate a new project, you require strength. A person who initiates becomes a leader. Emerson, the great poet, he says, in every work of genius, I find my own rejected thoughts. I'm repeating, in every work of genius, I find my own rejected thoughts. What does it mean? I also had the same ideas, but I didn't have the courage to express them. The person who expressed those ideas with courage, now he became an achiever. He or she is being called, hailed as a genius. So the mind does not want to initiate something because of various fears, fear about what others will say. Will I be able to handle this? So many fearful thoughts can come and reduce the level of your confidence. But through sadhana, you should develop so much of confidence that you set the pace of your life, you set the direction for your life. So that is Arambha, the sadhana of Arambha. And then the second way the mind tries to escape is not wanting to commit or take up responsibility. Undertaking, Arambha means undertaking. So the tendency of the mind is generally to shirk responsibilities. So as a sadhak, you should take up more responsibilities in your life. Responsibilities are a source of burden for people who are weak. But the same responsibilities become so inspiring, become a source of development for a person who is strong. So if you want to grow to higher and higher dimensions, take up more responsibility. You should overcome that tendency to shirk your duties and responsibilities. Why is it that our ancient masters and yogis, siddhas, they emphasized or they encouraged people to raise a family, to get married and give birth to children and to have a family and all that? Because that is a responsibility. Through that, you can develop your inner strength. It is easy to shirk, but that will not solve any problem. And then the third aspect is Arambha also means reducing speed. I told you, even if you don't do something at the right time, then it is as good as not doing it. So doing things very slowly, not acting in a timely way, all that is anarambha. Generally, that is one aspect of tamas. Any decision you need to take, you don't have the courage to take the decision immediately. You go on postponing it indefinitely. See, if you postpone a decision because of lack of information or for certain reasons, that is different. But just simply postponing, not acting immediately, acting in a slow way, deciding in a slow way, this is a deadly weakness of the mind. So if you want to master Karma Yoga, if you want to become a Sthita Prajna, you need to overcome this weakness of the mind. See, once this weakness sets in, such a person will start postponing decisions in every small thing. You ask that person to book some tickets, let's say flight tickets, or let's go for a holiday, okay. They will go on analyzing, they will go on seeing this flight, that flight. They will never come to a conclusion. Undue postponing, undue postponement. any aspect of life, the reaction itself becomes slow and the responses become even more slow. So that is anarambha. And then we saw the fourth dimension. Arambha means not putting the necessary effort. See, anything in life can be achieved if you put in the right efforts. That is, you need to be prepared to pay the price for everything. We generally want everything for free. That is another weakness of the mind. We don't want to contribute anything. So as a yogi, as an aspiring yogi, never go for anything free in life. Nothing comes free of cost. You will have to pay the price for everything in some way. If you want spiritual development, you need to do sadhana. Many people think a guru means one who will just bless and magically solve all the problems, It is not like that. A guru is one who will help you to solve the problems, but not by any magic or something. He will make you do the right sadhana so that your problems are solved, so that your karmas are dissolved. So never go for for free things. That is the tendency of the mind to take the easy way out, So you will have to put an effort to overcome that weakness of the mind. So these are the various dimensions of arambha which were given to you. So you can absorb them and start practicing them. Last week itself I had explained them in detail. So that's why I just gave one or two more subtler points regarding these dimensions. So by non-commencement of action, na karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam purushaha ashnute. Na ashnute. That na and ashnute have to be read together. So by non-commencement of action, one does not obtain the state of naishkarmyam, actionlessness. So this anarambha, the weakness of the mind to escape, it is not only with respect to action. See, the word used is karmanam. So karma means action. The karma also means consequences. So all these dimensions can be applied to the other aspect of karma also, consequences. Wanting to escape from the consequences of your own actions is also anarambha. It's a weakness. If you have done something wrong, let us say, now when the consequences come back, you don't want to face that. See, people don't want to put any effort, but they don't want any negative consequences also in life. See, for example, supposing you're an entrepreneur and you're doing business. Now, business is a separate skill. You need to learn that. See, most people think just because they are good in performing some activity, now they can do business, their own business and succeed. Not necessarily. Business is a separate skill. You may be an excellent worker, that is, you may be very, very talented in one area, but that doesn't mean you will be able to do business in that area, that is business using that talent. That is a separate skill which has to be mastered. So many people, entrepreneurs, they just take up business thinking that why should I work under someone? Working under someone has its advantages. You learn so much, And then if you have those business skills, you can start. Supposing as an entrepreneur, if a person goes on increasing the loans, it's an easy way out, When there is a financial crunch, one way is to take a loan. The moment you take a loan, now the problem gets solved immediately. But actually, in the long run, the problem increases only, because you will have to pay the interest and the liabilities go on increasing. The other way is, you see ways and means by which you can increase the income. Loan is not an income. So how do you improve your sales? What are the various other avenues I can explore? And not only that, seeing ways and means by which you can reduce expenses. This is the longer route. A person who takes the second route will be successful in business in the long run. A person who takes the first route, he or she will get into some problem or other. It's a question of time only, because the pressure will go on increasing. So the mind wants to escape from solving the issue in the real sense. It wants an immediate kind of a relief, So I know many entrepreneurs who go on increasing their loans, and then at one point of time they are unable to bear the pressure. At that time they complain. They don't want to face the consequences. Remember, life is based on your karma only, your actions and the consequences of the actions. So if you have acted in a particular way, you should have the strength to face the consequences also. So if that is your position right now, instead of again running away from that, you now have to slowly reverse the process. Actually, some time back, a lady came to me. She was an entrepreneur and she was facing a lot of issues in business. So she came to me for a solution, and her loans were very high and she was not getting proportionate income. She was not generating the revenue from business. That was the crux of the issue. So instead of increasing the revenue, she was continuously taking more and more loans. So I told her, as a first step, now make an analysis of your income and expenditure, your loans, everything, and see what is it that you're getting and how much is are your expenses and your loans. So unless you get a clear picture of that, how will you be able to proceed to the next step? So do that. And after a month, she sent a mail saying that I am unable to do that. And she herself has put the reason, because the very thought of going and analyzing my own financial status in a deep way is causing so much of fear in me, because I know that I have to face my situation. That thought itself is frightening. Then I told her, you have to overcome this. Unless and until you overcome that, you cannot go to the next step. How long are you going to hide? Of course, she is a very sincere sadhak, So she absorbed that wisdom and got the courage to be able to face her own situation. So when he uses the word non-commencement of karma, karma means action. It also means the consequences of action. So all these principles of arambha will also be applicable to consequences. So nakarmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam purushaha ashnute. One does not obtain the state of actionlessness. Naishkarmyam. It's a very, very powerful word. So before we come to Naishkarmyam, a small homework. The 4 dimensions of Arambha which were given to you. Now, what do you need to do with them? They are all nothing but parameters for you to check. Yardsticks or parameters. Am I having these tendencies? Am I having the fear of initiating action? Am I having the fear of taking up responsibilities? Am I having the tendency to decide and act in a slow way, not in a timely way? Am I having this tendency to constantly seek things without contributing anything? That is wanting everything for free, taking life for granted, So all these dimensions serve as parameters for you to check within yourself. So as a homework, last week itself I gave you, so you can continue with that and also see basically that tendency of the mind, the weakness of the mind to want to escape from everything. The more you begin to understand what is happening within you, the greater is the chance for you to correct yourself and grow to higher dimensions of perfection. So now, what is he saying? He says, one does not obtain the state of actionlessness, naishkarmyam. So if you take the mere literal dictionary definition, naishkarmyam and karmanam anarambat, that is non-commencement of action, and naishkarmyam will be one and the same if you look at them superficially. But when we use the yogic approach and go deep, they are two different things altogether. They are actually the opposites. You will be amazed once we go deep into this and see what naishkarmyam is. It will be very inspiring. So naishkarmyam is nothing but the state of actionlessness. It looks like a contradiction. In the first portion of this line, he says, don't stop your activity. By stopping your activity, you cannot achieve anything. Now, he is talking of the state of perfection. See, naishkarmyam means perfection. It is an ultimate state of enlightenment. One of the dimensions of enlightenment is naishkarmyam. See, when we talk of enlightenment or sthita prajna, so many dimensions are there, infinite dimensions. So one of the dimensions is naishkarmyam, the state of actionlessness. So on the first part he says, no, don't avoid actions, keep on acting. The second line he says, naishkarmyam, he refers to the goal, which is stopping of all actions. So there is the contradiction there, apparently. So as I told you, a master always uses the language of contradiction to force a student to think deeply. See, the very structure in which these scriptures are designed is to force yourself to think deeply. If you follow the Bhagavad Gita carefully, you will have no choice. You will pause at every moment and you will start thinking deeply. The yogic approach is the only way by which you can study the scriptures. Not an external study, it's an internal study. And this approach will cause a lot of development at every stage. When there is no contradiction, when this wisdom is given just in one unidimensional way, in the same flow, there is a chance of the mind losing its alertness. See, when the same thing is told in the same way, continuously, in the same flow, after a while, you will lose your alertness. So what these great masters do is that they employ this technique of contradiction. So on one hand, if you talk of heat and suddenly when you talk of cold, your mind becomes alert. On one hand, you talk of God as a creator. Now you get used to that. Suddenly they talk of God as a destroyer. Now your mind becomes alert. Is God the creator or is God the destroyer? Sometimes when a tragedy happens in life, it's contradictory to a pleasant experience in life. So when lot of good things are happening in your life, slowly you forget God. Suddenly when a negative thing happens, now you become very alert. You ask, is God there? Why is God doing this? Immediately your deeper thinking process is triggered. So consciously, the great masters always use this principle of contradiction to trigger that deeper thinking process in a student. This is one such example. So Naishkarmyam literally means actionlessness. And he says by avoiding action, you cannot get into a state of actionlessness. So prima facie, what we can understand is when he talks of Naishkarmyam, it is obviously not a state where you are giving up actions externally, physically. See, the moment we use the word karma, now we generally associate it only with the physical aspect. Action, when the word action is used, we think it is only with respect to the physical body. Now, since we attribute action at the physical level alone, we are unable to think of any other state or any other way of being actionlessness. The moment they talk of actionlessness, you will think I'll have to stop action. This is a very superficial, narrow, limited approach. So by using these two phrases, one is karmanam anarambhat, which is at the physical level, and now he uses the term Naishkarmyam. He is actually introducing the deeper aspects of actionlessness, of that supreme state. You can be physically very active and still be in the state of actionlessness, which he is talking about, Naishkarmyam. How is that? I'll briefly explain the principle today, and then in the coming weeks we'll go into more depth also. Whenever your body is acting, you should remember that the body per se cannot act. Your body is like a vehicle, like your car. Now the car cannot run on its own. It requires a driver to act. So supposing the car has an accident. Now we can't blame the car. It is the driver who is to be blamed. If the car reaches very fast to a particular destination, oh, what a wonderful car it is. We'll not say that. What a wonderful driver he is. He reached in the shortest possible time. So similarly, when your body is acting, the body is not acting on its own. You are the driver. You means right now we will take the mind. It is not merely the mind with its emotions, the intellect with its thoughts, the jivatma, that's called the jivatma, the individual. The whole thing put together is a driver. But right now, to get a general understanding of what Naishkarmyam is, we'll consider the driver as a mind. So your mind is driving your body to action. So when you say my body is acting, actually it is your mind which is acting. The body is the tool which the mind uses to act. The body is the tool or instrument which the mind uses to experience the world. This is what you need to first understand. So, since the body per se cannot act, the body cannot be in a state of actionlessness also. There is no meaning. It is the mind which can be in a state of action or in a state of actionlessness. Actionlessness means right now you take it as a rest, then it becomes easy. The mind can be in a state of action, that is agitations, or the mind can be in a state of rest. This has nothing to do with your physical activity. Physically you may be very active, but mentally if you are calm, then you are in a state of actionlessness. Physically you may have stopped all your activities, but mentally if you are in a state of agitations, then you are not in a state of Naishkarmyam. He will be explaining these aspects in greater detail as we go, in the coming verses. This is like a base. He uses these terms like Naishkarmyam, Sannyas and all that here, and then the various aspects of Naishkarmyam, the various aspects of Sannyas, all that he will be explaining as we go along. So generally, when we say you have to reach the state of actionlessness, we immediately think now we'll have to stop all activity. No, what these great masters are saying is the driver has to become relaxed. Actionlessness means being in a state of perfect rest or relaxation. When you're driving the car, even at a high speed, you can be very relaxed. An expert driver is always relaxed, isn't it? Irrespective of the speed of the car. If you are not an expert driver, you may be driving the car at a very less speed, but you will be highly agitated and you may go and bang somewhere. In the initial stages when you are learning to drive the car, they'll ask you to drive at the speed of 10 or maximum 20. But for that speed itself, you will be very tense because you are not used to it. You are not yet mastered that skill. So, Naishkarmyam is not with respect to the physical body, it is not with respect to the vehicle, but it is with respect to the driver. What is your inner state when you are externally acting? That is the question. The higher meaning of Naishkarmyam, what exactly it means by actionlessness, all that I'll give you as we go along. But first, to get a hang of what he's saying, you need to understand this process. That is, you need to divide your personality first into two. One is the vehicle and the other is the driver. Throughout your life, you are only bothered about the vehicle. If you want to reach somewhere, both are important. The vehicle is also important, a good vehicle, but the driver is even more important. You may be given the best of the cars, the latest model limousine you're having, but you are driving so awfully, then what will happen? You will face accidents. So in spirituality, we give that importance to the vehicle, to the body also, and take care of it only to that extent where it is required. But we give a lot of importance. The masters lay so much of emphasis on developing the driver, the individual within. So, the deha means body. Dehinaha means the indweller in the body. It's you can learn these words, it will be very inspiring. Deha means your physical body. Dehinaha means one who is dwelling in the body. The day that person stops residing in this body, then that is medically declared as death. From a physical point of view, what is the difference between a dead body and a living body? Nothing. The same organs are there. The brain is there, the heart is there. Why has the heart suddenly stopped beating? With respect to a living body, the heart is beating. With respect to a dead body, the heart has stopped beating. All the organs have stopped functioning. Why? Because the dehinaha is there in a living body, whereas the dehinaha has left that body. The indweller has gone away. So if you want to truly reach the highest state of Naishkarmyam, now you need to see yourself as the indweller. If your identification is fully with the body, now you are at the lowest level. So as you do your sadhana, now you will get the capacity to separate yourself from your own body. You will understand that this body is something which I have acquired in this birth to do a few things, to fulfill certain duties. Just as I acquire a car. But the car is not me. I am different from the car. I am the driver and the car is my vehicle. I am different from this physical body. The body is deha. I am dehinaha, the indweller. So the moment I am different from the body, now action or no action is not with respect to the physical body. It is with respect to me, the indweller. Right now we are taking it as the mind to understand the principle. But it means your entire inner personality, which is called the Jivatma actually. Jivatma means the individual self. So by non-commencement of action, by stopping of actions externally, you don't reach the state of Naishkarmyam. There is no change with respect to the indweller. What a magnificent principle he is giving. See, he is slowly changing your focus from the externalities to your inner self. And then when we talk of indweller, there also, you keep on going deeper and deeper and deeper. Who am I? Who am I? Who is the real indweller? And finally you will find that it is the Supreme Self. You are that Supreme Self. That infinite reality you are. Tattvamasi, that thou art. So this small step of differentiating the physical body from the indweller, that's how you start off with. And then that will take you deep within. And finally, you will understand, you will realize, you will experience that infinite state. You will experience that infinite reality as yourself. Okay, so we will stop with that right now. In the next session, we'll go further deep into this. What is this principle of Naishkarmyam, actionlessness? many things are there. So we will look into all that. So before we do the meditation, I will just take up one question. This question has been asked by Narayan ji. Hari Om Guruji, pranams. My question pertains to the point mentioned by you in the Sunday session, where you were invoking the higher energy and providing the healing to a master who was always giving the healing energy to the world continuously. I remember you telling the same thing about Lord Buddha, whose Karma Yoga was to just see the world around and give the healing, and in spite of that, there were good and bad things, events happening. And all the people during his time also were not receiving the healing energy. So my question is, what happens to the healing energy sent by the Mahatmas to the world? And who are the people who receive the energy sent by the masters? Thanks a ton for all the guidance provided. Sadhak Narayan. See, this principle of sending the healing energy universally is a natural activity which every master does. It is not a practice. See, when you meditate and when you go deep within and when you get connected with the infinite, you automatically start radiating the infinite vibrations. Now, what you need to understand is, whether you are connected to the infinite, whether you are a master, true master, an enlightened person, or whether you are an ordinary person, you are anyway emitting energy. What we call as good vibes and bad vibes. Vibes means what? The vibrations only. If you are having a lot of negative thoughts, now that gives that a certain kind of negative energy emanates from you. See, haven't you experienced this? Some people, they don't need to tell anything, but you feel like avoiding them. You feel very uncomfortable. That's a kind of vibes which they send. Some people, without telling itself, you get a lot of positive energy, sweetness. You feel very comfortable. So constantly everyone is emitting energy. Not that only the holy siddhas and yogis alone who are emitting energy and all that. Now, when a yogi, when he is attuned to the infinite, he starts emitting the highest healing energy. So what happens to that? What happens means that that is what balances the various negative forces. See, we are living in the world where, from a spiritual point of view, there is something called collective consciousness. See, you are existing in your individual consciousness. Your neighbor is existing in his or her individual consciousness. Similarly, each individual. Now, everything put together is called the collective consciousness. The collective consciousness can be negative or positive. If 1,000 people think in a negative way, the collective energy or the collective consciousness will become negative. See, when India got its freedom in 1947, the freedom was not obtained by one individual. It is a collective consciousness where everybody started feeling that why should we be slaves? One or two people or a group of people may have been instrumental in bringing that thought in everyone, bringing that emotion in everyone. They were the leaders. But we can't say that they alone brought the freedom. It is the collective consciousness, the collective energy of the place has to change. So when we talk of collective consciousness, 10 people are bringing in a lot of negative thoughts, let us say. One person or two people are bringing in positive thoughts. Now the positive and negative get neutralized. A master is one who brings in tremendous positive energy. So that balances out many, many negative factors in that environment. That is why it has been poetically said that wherever a spiritual person resides, that whole place is benefited. In the Puranic stories, they have beautifully described where a saint lives, the place itself starts flourishing, the people become very happy, even the animals and all become calm. That is how they have depicted. What is the principle there? The principle is the divine vibrations which are emanating from a spiritual person. Those vibrations are very strong. So who are the people who receive them? Means those who get connected, those who are pure, who do sadhana, receive the higher vibrations. See, we are having the empowerment courses right now. The Anandoham is going on. Now, who are the people who are receiving that? These are all nothing but the higher vibrations only. And empowerment is never given by one master. Physically, you may see only one master giving. But actually, it is the blessings of many, many masters. When you receive an empowerment, actually you receive the empowerment from all the masters. That is why in our meditation, when we offer our gratitude, I always say, offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the other masters, all the great masters. Why is that being said? Because we receive the blessings from all of them. So who are the people who receive that? Those who purify themselves, those who attune themselves, those who make themselves humble, they receive the higher vibrations directly. Those who have too much of ego and all that, now they are unable to receive the higher energy because that becomes a block. So as far as you are concerned, what do you need to do? Get attuned to the higher, become very humble, do the sadhana and purify yourself. Then you will receive all the higher blessings which you require. Okay? So now we'll do the meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I'm going deeper and deeper into myself. This physical body is the external vehicle. I am the indweller. I am not this physical body. I am different from my body. The body is not me, but it belongs to me. From this moment onwards, I choose to do the sadhana of Arambha. I choose to overcome the weakness of escapism. my goal is to reach the supreme state of Naishkarmyam, actionlessness, I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes, rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So today we had a powerful session. Reflect on these points. See, these principles are very practical, but at the same time they are so deep, They can bring about a tremendous change in the quality of your life. It all depends on your effort only. The more you're able to absorb these principles, your whole life will start changing, because the Karma Yoga is such a powerful sadhana. It can completely transform the way you are approaching life, the way you are experiencing life. It just increases the quality of all your experiences. That is the beauty. Okay, so we'll conclude today. We'll meet in the next session. Thank you very much. Hari Om.